Hi, my name is Adebisi Adetunji, a media and development communications professional, a two-time published author. I love storytelling and creative writing is my thought. And storytelling is as old as man. We all grew up with our grannies, grandpas, parents, telling us stories to talk to us about our history. We have movies all out there telling stories. We read novels. You know, to, we enjoy reading a good novel anytime because it tells a story. Storytelling has a way that it connects to people's emotions. If you want people to remember something, tell them a story. In the modern digital space and digital world, in modern trends, we find out that storytelling has become a veritable tool to achieve so much more than just reading a story, a novel, watching a movie, telling a child a story. We find a situation where stories are used for personal branding, business branding, and in this particular conversation about storytelling as a very effective tool, we are going to be talking about storytelling as a veritable tool for fundraising. Have you ever had a project or someone that you needed to raise funds to support? How easy was it? It's tough, but hey, let's dive deep into it. I'm going to be sharing my screen right about now. Now, let's dig right deep into it. Storytelling, a veritable tool for successful fundraising. When you talk about fundraising, what do we actually mean? We're talking about money. Yes, money. Money to make things happen, money to get things done, money needed to achieve a project. According to Wikipedia, it is a process of seeking and gathering voluntary financial contributions by engaging individuals, businesses, charitable organizations, or government agencies. So the key word for fundraising is that it is voluntary. People giving towards a cause, people giving to support an objective or a goal. Now, what is usually the objective of fundraising? It is, of course, to access financial resources to sponsor a noble cause. It could be to save lives, support a research to finding cure for a disease. There are so many diseases that we are looking for a cure for. Sometimes we raise funds to commit to such researches. It could be to provide an education or empowerment support for indigent people. It could be to pay the hospital bill of an indigent person or somebody that cannot afford a hospital bill, maybe for a serious treatment that runs into millions. It could be to build a structure that will serve a community good or project. For example, you may want to build a community recreation center, in your neighborhood. You may want to build an elderly daycare center, something I've been thinking about recently. You may want to build a youth football or sports center just to serve your community. Now, if you must agree, getting people to part with their hard-earned money can be like trying to pull at the mustache of a man. Ouch! It can be that painful. Convincing people to part with their money, to part with their resources is tough. Imagine pulling at your husband or your dad or your friends, mustache, and you pull so hard. You know how painful that can be. It can be as tough as that when you are trying to raise money. So how do we convince people and get them to buy into our project fundraising goals or life-saving goals or recreational, center goals that we don't have enough money for? How do you get sponsors, donors to buy into your idea? And that is what this conversation, storytelling conversation, is all about. First, do you even believe in the cause? Or you just want to raise funds? Sometimes you just gather, we want to raise funds for a particular project, and you are not deeply convinced. You not deeply believe in that cause. It's easy to convince people when you believe in the cause you're trying to raise funds for. People can easily tell that you are passionate about this, you care about this. So believe deeply in the cause you are raising funds for. Then you can truly get others to believe in it enough to support you. When people get it is infectious. When they can see that you believe in this cause, they see that you care about it. You can easily sell what is in your mind's eye to the would-be donor or investors, and they can support you. Now, what are the important to-dos when planning a fundraiser or when trying to raise funds? You must have clear identification of the specific fund area needs. You answer the questions, what, why. So, for example, I want to raise funds, for an elderly daycare center, so that people can get their agent to come to the center. Maybe when you are going to work as a loved one, you will not be there. Your agent needs somewhere to be at. I want to provide service for the elderly, that they can go to such centers during the day while their loved ones are at work. So what is my what? What is my why? My why is I want elderly people to age gracefully. I want loved ones like myself, like my parents. I want them to have a comfortable place, to have other elderly persons, they can connect with, they can relate with. I want them cared for. And I want to meet this need because it's a gap in the community. We have daycare centers for children, but we don't have for the elderly. This is particularly in Nigeria. So you must be clear about what specific area, what is your what is your why, how much is your target, how much funds do you need. And now this is where we are going. Tell the story of the what. Tell the story of the what and the why. Craft a compelling and convincing story about your project, your goal, and then identify potential funders, donors, investors. Don't just identify these funders, read about them. What do they really care about? What is the mission and goals and vision of that individual or the donor or the agency, right? Yeah. You must be clear. You must see how your goal, where in your plan, what in your plan connects, aligns to their own missions and their goal. And people's reason for donating to a cause can just be about, oh, I'm a philanthropist. I care about my community. I want people to see my business as a business that cares about the community. And you just want to connect with the community. Or we want our brand to be more visible because this cause is a cause that a lot of people are interested. I'm going to be showing you examples of how some people were able to raise a fund, telling the story of their what and their why. So clearly capture what you have in mind in your request or your negotiation. Other to-dos when planning for a fundraiser. Now you have determined the what, the why, the amount. You have identified the donors, the investors. Determine the format, the approach you want to use. Do you want to organize a dinner or a show? Do you want to organize a marathon? Some people do a walk marathon, a running marathon. Some people, they organize shows to raise funds. Some people organize lunch, dinner. And of course, you can prepare a pitch instead if you're going to be presenting it to the intended donors or investors or individual at an agreed space. Now I want to talk about an example of someone, a recently just concluded chess marathon organized by Tunde Onokoya at the Times Square, New York. He had two objectives: to achieve a World Guinness record, and most importantly, to raise funds to the tune of $1 million to provide underprivileged children with access to basic education. A good goal. Now, let's see how he did it. Now, Tunde Onokoya leveraged on his personal brand story. Oh, yes. He is already known as a professional chess master player who gives hopes to kids in the slum area, teaching them how to play chess. Yeah. So people already connected to his story. People already knew him to be someone that cares about his community. People already knew what he was doing. And so he leveraged on his personal brand to set out to announce that he wanted to set a new Guinness World Record to be the longest chess playing marathon. And he wasn't just doing this, to just, get the World Guinness record. He was doing it to raise funds for a $1 million project to give underprivileged children in the slum area, basic education. Fantastic. Brilliant idea. Now, his fundraising strategy is that apart from his personal brand, he was clear about the amount that he wanted to, raise 1 million in dollars, foreign currency, not naira. He was clear that for him to raise that kind of money, he needed a global platform. And so he chose to do a marathon to raise awareness, and he chose the Times Square in New York to do it. He did it in collaboration with, of course, some businesses. So he pursued a global platform to achieve his goal. And then his story became a story of resilience, a story of someone that was willing to undergo hardship, stress, using the one skill that he knew, which is chess playing, to raise funds for underprivileged children who had no hope, children who would be lost forever if no one provided basic education for them. That was the sell. That was the sell. People could connect with that story. People could feel that story. And as the hours went on, the media platform from the international and national scene took up his story. People started sharing his story, his progress on their timelines. The who is who wanted to identify with the story. It's a story of courage. It's a story of resilience. And by the time Today on Nokoya was done with the 58 hours, which went on to 60 hours, he already had companies, businesses already donating funds to his cause. People wanted to identify with his brand because his marathon, his story, presents their own brand, is a plus to their own brand, is a sell to any brand that identifies with it. So Today on Nokoya leveraged on his personal story and told a live ongoing story as he progressed in that chess marathon. Another story example that I would like to quickly share is one that is close to my heart, Abiye, a maternal and child, health media campaign program on Premier FM Radio Nigeria that I did years back while I was working seriously in the traditional media. We had this campaign where we wanted to reach out to mothers and children who died needless deaths because they did not register for antenatal early. They did not think that immunization was important because of traditional, beliefs, harmful traditional beliefs, harmful biases. They prefer birth attendants that put the mothers and children, babies at risk. And so we decided to go into the community, work with primary healthcare center, tell the stories of real women out there. And as we continued in the journey on radio, it became a point where people reached out to us with cases of vulnerable women, and we had to play advocacy role and raise funds. I like to quickly tell the story of Bilkisu, an accident victim pregnant mom. She was pregnant with her baby she was 4 months pregnant when she was knocked down by a car, and she was bandaged from her waist downwards to her leg. Interestingly, the baby was kicking and alive. So doctors trying to save her reached out to us for us to use our medium to raise funds for her. It was a tough one because it was a lot of money, and her husband and family did not have money to do the required surgery that she needed to at least save her life and thereby save the life of her baby. And so we're like, how do we get money? How do we raise funds for this woman? We just have our media plan. How do we sell her story? How did we do it? So we decided to tell Bilkisu's story. We decided to tell, craft a compelling, believable, emotional story that says to people, this could be my wife, this could be my sister, this could be my friend, this could be my You know, this could be just about anybody that is related to me. This could have happened to anyone that is related to me. What can I do? It was a story of saving a mother, an unborn child, and a mother who is willing to carry through her baby to term. And so we also took pictures of her as proof of the reality of Bilkisu's story. People could connect with her. We put a face to it by sharing her pictures with, documenting her picture, crafting a compelling story. Then we now identified investors and donors who were interested in women issues, who were interested in babies, who were interested in empowering women. And as we reached out to them with our story, we got people to donate, and we got the money that we needed to not only do the surgery, to carry out the surgery for Bilkisu, but to sustain her through the months that she needed to be in the hospital. And she carried her baby to term, and she was safely delivered of her baby. So again, telling your personal story, telling the story of your why. Why are you raising funds for this project? Telling a compelling story, giving your why can help. Let's quickly recap how we can tell compelling stories that will help us achieve our fundraising goal. Number one, clear identification of the specific funding area needs. Number two, tell the story of the what and why before adding the numbers, the money that you need. Number three, identify potential funders, donors, investors. Number four, determine the kind of fundraising format approach most suitable to achieve your objective. And number five, identify and show how your request aligns with the individual or organizational's goals and mission. So your fundraising goals and objectives are achievable if you can tell compelling stories about your what and your why. If you are able to apply some of these nuggets, some of these strategies that I've shared in this conversation about storytelling as a veritable fundraising tool, I'm sure you can achieve your fundraising goal. So I hope you were able to garner one or two tips from this conversation about using storytelling as a veritable tool in your fundraising project. It's doable. Just know how to craft a compelling, believable story that connects with your donors, that connects with your investors or the individual, that shows them the benefits, whether the benefits of being someone that cares about the community, the benefits of giving visibility to their brand, the benefits of saving a life, being the benefits of having empathy. So tell your own story. Don't be afraid to tell the story and keep at it. I wish you the best in your fundraising projects and goals. Bye for now.